Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this one I'm going to be taking you through the Terminal Dark Ops Calling Card Challenge on the map Terminus. This is not a step-by-step guide as it's a pretty straightforward challenge. All you have to do is get to round 51 and then fight the boss on Terminus at the end. However, I will be showing you the approach that we took towards it, the weapons I used all the way up until round 50, and just giving tips and tricks on how you can do this because round 50 does get a little dramatic. So within the first 5 rounds I spin the Gobblegum machine to get Perkaholic and Hidden Power. I'm pretty much only using my melee weapon at this point. I'm using my knife. I have a ton of hidden powers and I almost never use my Perkaholic, so I figure if I'm going around 50, I might as well use them. The hidden power is going to save me a ton of salvage that I can spend on other weapons or mutant injections, chopper gunners, shields, you name it. And then the Perkaholic is obviously going to save me a ton of money on not having to buy all my perks. If you're doing this challenge, you're going to be in here for the long haul, especially if you're playing with friends, so I would go ahead and just use your Gobblegum. That's what they're there for. We only use Rampage Inducer for a few rounds, but if you want to get through the first, 10, 15, sometimes even 20 rounds on Rampage Inducer, feel free to do so. It's just going to be more difficult. It makes it a lot easier to get the power stations done around the map without Rampage Inducer. So it's round 11 now. I spin for a wall power Gobblegum. This has been my plan. I run straight to the GS45s, buy them off the wall so they're pack-a-punched already, and then use my hidden power and my Perkaholic. This way I could ensure that I'm not going to go down with all 8 perks by not having a high enough level weapon, and now I have my gun that I'm going to use for the rest of the game. I gotta say, I do highly recommend that you use the GS45s for this, at least one member on your team. We had 2 people on our team using this. The gun is amazing. It does fall off like pretty much all bullet weapons do right about round 36, but it's still amazing. Even on round 51, it might take an extra 1 or 2 shots to kill a zombie, but it's still very good for crowd control, and it works very well on special zombies and elites. Fast forward a handful of rounds and we're now at the Nathan boss fight. I have pack 2 on my weapons, my friends have pack 2 on their weapons. Like I mentioned earlier, we have 2 guys, myself included, running a Mustang and Sally. We knew we were going to do a lot of damage to him, but we didn't know it would be this absurd. He quite literally was there and gone. As soon as we picked up that insta-kill, his health just took off. Our goal right now is to just get all the steps done except for the very last one on the Easter egg. That way we can get to round 51 without having to worry about anything and then start the fight as soon as we get there. Eventually we got a little bored and decided to do the UFO Easter egg for a wonder weapon. If you don't know what that is, it's where you take a weapon with dead wire on it and you shoot these 2 towers that I'm showing you on screen right now. After you do that, you want to take a large horde of zombies over to the Void Cannon trap and activate it. If you kill enough zombies with it, you'll see a UFO being shot out of the sky, to which you can hop in a boat and go chase it down onto the island, and there's a chance that it may drop a wonder weapon. Regardless, you do get good loot from this. So at this point, it's round 29. I have all my weapons nicely upgraded, so I figure why not upgrade the knife. If you haven't tried out the knife already with Melee Macchiato, it's absolutely broken and it's extremely fun to use. It is important that your knife is upgraded to the current round. My knife is a little bit behind, so it's not doing as much damage. But at the same time, you do want to make sure you hit their cannons when it comes to the Manglers. But you can absolutely destroy Manglers in 1 to 2 hits. It's not only useful for Manglers, though. If you have the augment that gives you health back when you get melee kills, once you pair that with Jug and reactive armor, you're almost immortal. So long as your knife one-shots regular zombies. Here you can see me just running around one-tapping everything in my line of sight, while simultaneously getting any health back from when they hit me. At this point in the game, where we're almost at round 30, this is where most players are familiar with extracting right at about 31 rounds. It seems like your XP seems to fall off quite a bit, just right off of a cliff after 31 rounds, so it's most efficient to extract at that point. All of our weapons are still performing very well, and I still don't even have Pack-a-Punch 3 on any of my weapons. So at this point in the run, it's starting to feel like a breeze. We've attempted this challenge multiple times. In our last run, we were on round 37, and then all of a sudden, all 4 of us got disconnected due to a playlist update in multiplayer. So you can imagine how that felt. On round 32, I am still running my knife, and all I've done is upgrade its rarity to Epic. My plan at the moment, which I'm currently running the AS Val, is to get an ASG off the wall, but I'm waiting for it to be legendary, which doesn't happen until around 38 to 40, somewhere in that gray area. The ASG is going to be my second weapon that I'm keeping until the end of this game. If you're still running Dragon's Breath, I recommend taking that off as it's no longer really that good. I'd recommend putting something like Rapid Fire on instead. But don't worry, the gun still absolutely mows through crowds of zombies. I put Shadow Rift on it just for the fun of it. But this gun, along with the Mustang and Sally's, definitely carried me all the way through 51. Even on round 51, it was still doing a good amount of damage. Of course, it takes more shots because we're on a much higher round now, but that's to be expected. As we get closer and closer to round 51, I'm egregiously hitting the box, trying to get a beam smasher, but my dreams are not coming true. I'm getting rocket launchers and pistols. My dreams didn't ever come true, and I never acquired a beam smasher. As we get closer and closer to round 51, I figure why not hit the Gobblegum machine to try to roll for something like an Idle Eyes, an insta-kill, max ammo. I did end up getting an Idle Eyes, which another one of us is holding an Idle Eyes, so we have 2 minutes currently of time that zombies will not attack us at all. Because if you don't know, Patient 9's health does not scale up based on round, only the zombies around you do. We're getting super close now, teammates are starting to drop dead, it's looking really sketchy. Right now, all we can do is just progress through the rounds and play a time-based game. We found that using the chopper gunners once per round or a mutant injection in a chopper gunner would get you through the entire round. This kept a couple of us from dying, and it also sped up the process of getting to round 51. By that point in the game, we're like 2.5 hours in, so each one of us all have at least 10,000 salvage, especially if you had used a hidden power. These score streaks were essentially our life force at this point. The mutant injection, no matter what round you're on, is always amazing. So anytime I'm holding a chopper gunner or I'm already holding a mutant injection, I'll just go ahead and pop one and then pick it up later. We are currently right on the edge of 50, and unbeknownst to us, we didn't know that round 50 would be a parasite round. At round 50, these do take a second to get through, but it was kind of like a breath of fresh air before we hopped into the boss fight. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is literally what the entire match has been about, the entire last 3 hours of my life, all for this boss fight right here. So right off rip, one of my buddies pops an Idle Eyes, and we just start melting the boss. 2 Mustang and Sally's going absolutely crazy on his forehead, along with a beam smasher. And you can see his health is going down rather quickly. This fight honestly did not take us that long. He dives away and comes back for his second phase, to which I pop my Idle Eyes and we continue to melt his health bar. It's actually insane. I've never beat the boss this quick before. The Mustang and Sally's really do a lot of work. Before we entered the boss fight, all of us saved up our money for the last like 5 to 10 rounds so we could buy ammo while we were in here, since it cost 5k for a 3-packed weapon. The boss comes back for his third phase, so we're blasting him in the forehead while he charges up for his attack that will kill you instantly. We dive into the water while he attacks, come back out of the water, and what do? We start blasting that man's forehead again. With his teeny tiny little bit of health left, we finally defeat Patient 9 on round 51. This may not sound like such a feat to you round 100 plussers, but to us, 3 hours of time to get to where this round is was quite the challenge. I will say the XP I got for this was absolutely worth it. And as you can see here, if you go to your calling cards, that sweet, beautiful Terminal Dark Ops calling card is waiting on you. That's all I've got for this video, so I appreciate all of you guys for watching. This one was a ton of fun to make, and I'm so glad to have this challenge out of the way as it's quite difficult. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.